it's naked Danny DeVito. I don't know what else. I don't know how else to say this. But yeah. Oh my god, hi. Let me pull up my pictures of Magfest, which is a con that I went to for the first time. It was in January. It was in DC. Definitely adding this to like my regular roster of cons because Magfest was so magical. So I want to definitely show everything about Magfest. Cue old-timey. I feel like a different generation of people, you know, like busting out the slides to show off vacation pictures, but that's basically all I'm doing on stream tonight. If you came for games, which I don't know why you would, because it's not really the vibe of what I do. I mean, I play games, but I don't think that's why anyone comes to watch me stream. We're definitely going to talk about all the cons. So you can already, I hope you can see Brendan Fraser. He's one of the first things that comes up. So let's talk about cons, because let's be honest, that's all I ever want to talk about. And it brings me such joy to talk about them on stream. Okay, so Magfest is an acronym for Music and Gaming Fest. So this is a convention that takes place in the winter in Washington, D.C. at the Gaylord Hotel on the harbor. So you can see just like some of the first sights that I saw. I was immediately taken in by this homage to the Mummy, Brendan Fraser. Not really sure why. But yeah, there's so many things I have to say about Magfest, but I did actually make like a little video overview, if you will, a preview. And then I can kind of talk about some of the experiences that I had back in January that I should have shared with you guys way sooner. But you know what? That didn't happen. I really live on my own schedule. I don't know any other way. I don't know any other way to be. So let's mute the music that I've got going here, and let me show you this little video homage to my weekend at Magfest. That's great. You got started. Oh my god. Oh my god, so much to talk about. So it is called Music and Gaming. That's what the MAG and MAGFest stands for. And the music element is something I just really loved about MAGFest. Even just like hearing about it, I was like, this can't be real. You know, I haven't heard of cons like this. And then it was, and then it like exceeded my expectations. So the first thing that like is awesome about this con, and I think you'll hear me talk about this a lot with cons, is the space, right? Con is a community experience. It's a spatial experience. So the space that you choose for your con can have a huge impact on kind of determining what the con is going to be like. And you've probably also heard me complain the cons that go from hotels to convention centers are not the same. But after we talk about Magfest, I want to talk about PAX East. And actually, okay, that one's at a convention center and I really liked it. Oh my God, Nick! Nick, I'm so happy to see you. Welcome in. So PAX, Nick. PAX was everything. I have so much more to say about it. If I'm being perfectly honest, I'm still catching up from the con before PAX that I went to. But if you stick around, I do have so many pictures of PAX and so many stories. I don't want to get ahead of myself, but like I was really suspicious about going to PAX. It just did not seem like my kind of con at all. And I think, when I kind of tell you my stories from Magfest, you'll definitely see like the kind of con that I generally vibe with. And I didn't think PAX was going to be that, but it wasn't. It was something totally different. And I'm glad to say that I can appreciate both. This convention, Magfest, was located at this hotel called the Gaylord National. It's actually the home to another popular con, KatsuCon, which happens actually only a few weeks after Magfest. And some people have been trying to tell me, like, yeah, Katsu ain't it's really all about Magfest. But then, like, a lot of popular, like, cosplayers on social media really like KatsuCon. So, I guess I gotta go to KatsuCon next year to do, like, a comparison, right? Magfest, I know, was fantastic, and the space was a huge part of that for me. So you can kind of see, like, I was fortunate enough to get a room in the hotel that was on the kind of terrace overlooking this, like, indoor courtyard. Just huge and gorgeous, and an entire giant glass window that overlooks the harbor. So, like, visually stunning, right? We're already set up for great cosplay photos and just, like, setting a mood. I mean, this con was in the middle of January. PAX East was cold. I don't know how y'all live up in Boston. PAX East was cold in March, but Washington, D.C. was freezing in January. And so this lovely little hotel, for me, definitely took my mind off of the piercing, brutal cold, right? So the picture of me there is Envy Adams. That was the first night at the con. And that's like the view from the elevator bay on our floor. And so, like, gorgeous views at night, but also during the day. Also, when it was all covered in snow on the second day. Beautiful hotel, right? Beautiful views all around. Down in the underneath is where they had, like little snackeries and seating, but also like a lot of photo shoots were down there because there was a lot of really, just like indoor gardens, indoor water features. There was a lot of aesthetic stuff happening down there. And actually, it was the first night of con that I met up with the music-inspired cosplays. So here we have Powerline, which, I mean, whom amongst us doesn't stan Powerline? And Bowie as Jareth in the Labyrinth. So these are two of the organizers, actually, of the photo meetup that I went to on the first night. And I will say, this space is used for all the, like, major group meetups. So here we are doing the music-inspired characters. Envy Adams is from Scott Pilgrim. That's what I wore on night one. I was so excited to embrace, like, the music aspect of this con. But you can kind of tell, like, the lighting after dark was not ideal. So unless you brought, like, a professional photographer to take pictures of those group shots, after dark, it was just kind of more like a fun meet and greet to take photos. You definitely weren't going to get, like, the best quality photos. But by daylight, all of the natural light, like, pouring in through that giant open glass window in this beautiful hotel. Lots of great photo opportunities. This is some pictures a friend of mine took of my Daft Punk Interstellar 5555 inspired cosplay. If you recall this 20-year-old album that was turned into an animated feature. I'm sure everyone here is old enough like me to remember such a thing. But yeah, I was really proud of this cosplay and got to take some great pictures. Yeah, yeah, Daft Punk. I can't. This album, Discovery, upon which the animated, it's like basically an animated music video for every song on the album, but it's a cohesive like feature film. I think you can watch the whole thing on YouTube, but oh, I've listened to that album so many times on repeat. Thank you. I'm glad you like the cosplay, Key. I took some creative liberties with the coloring. I try to go for like more muted tones than the kind of stark cartoon bright tones. But I'm really happy with how it turned out. I was trying to finish it before 2024 because 2023 is technically the 20-year anniversary. But true to me, you know, I do things like at my own pace. In the same space. So again, like everything I'm showing you so far is all about emphasizing this space because I think that really like curated my con experience. So you have, you know, just this giant open space that branches out into the ballrooms, which is used as kind of the convention floor for all the panels. But they also had this very like cute lobby bar, which was just nice for sitting. It's aesthetic. Again, you're looking at that giant glass window out to the harbor, and they also had live music playing at the lobby bar. So there were tons of like huge shows, lots of musical guests because it's both music and gaming centric. But I thought it was cool to just be able to kind of like sit at the bar and listen to a band. You know, I don't know. I don't think you get to do that a lot at cons. And without giving too much shade, oh Nick, the K-Tab way is the way. It kind of is for cons. Not to, but like, this is why I love talking about cons on stream is because I've been to a lot of them. I spend a lot of time focusing on mindfulness and being aware of all of my experiences. So I just have so much to say about every con that I go to. So being able to stream gives me a great opportunity to like try and share these stories. And this is something I was thinking about when I was preparing, you know, all these pictures from Magfest, but also of PAX, which is that like I'm not a person who's constantly taking pictures or constantly, you know, taking videos and like documenting the experience while I'm in it. I've been trying to be better about that because I do want to share the stories. But I think if you're too into that, it takes away from some of the experience. So I hope that my little slideshows and my storytelling is enough to kind of convey what I saw and what I felt at these cons. Because I feel like if I did any more, if I tried to like document every second, it wouldn't be fun anymore, right? I don't know. If you're too deep in your phone, you're not actually experiencing things. Like little things, like just hearing a band and saying, "Oh, I'm gonna go sit and listen to this band." And I did hear the band Geek Swag. They gave me some stickers. They had songs about kind of this cool like jazzy island music about a bunch of different video games. It was delightful. I think so. We had the lobby bar, and then in addition to the convention spaces for the large concerts and the lobby bar hosting bands, they also had these things that I've never seen. I've never seen this at any other con. But they called them jam pods. And so there's just like areas all around the halls of the convention. And there's like tape, you know, demarcating the area where you can sit, you can bring instruments, and you can just jam. They don't want you to sit there for longer than 30 minutes, but it's just like, I saw so many people just sit down with their instruments, meet other musicians, including electronic musicians. I saw people with like their laptops and just like vibing and playing music together. And I love video games and all the nerd stuff and the cosplay stuff that you normally see at cons. But this like dedication to just to music, and especially music happening in an organic, communal way. I never even dreamed I could have that at a con. I never dreamed that I could have like a musical experience and community experience the way you get to experience like community with your nerd friends about your nerd stuff. Not that musicians aren't nerds too. I mean, let's be very clear. And then upstairs, again, still just kind of trying to give you guys like a vision of the space that we were in. Got this giant open courtyard for photo ops, the gorgeous architecture of the hotel, the lobby bar, the convention floors. And then there's also upstairs like a full-on like club, basically. They had a bar, they had a DJ. Obviously I saw Sora, and when I see Sora, I take a picture with Sora. When I see Sora, I take a picture with Sora. And this Sora was actually more than willing to like dance in a video for me, which I thought was so fun. And that's kind of what you see is like the view of from the rooftop bar of this harbor area in DC. So really beautiful. Definitely kind of weird to see like a dedicated party space in a hotel for cons. I feel like usually the party happens against the will of the hotel. I don't know. You know, it's more for the con attendees to maintain. But yeah, they had this space for all the drunk people to go to, and I went there, and it was fun. I enjoyed it. And they had some, DJs playing all the hits. When they played Don't Think Twice, it was over, right? It was absolutely over. And there's another weird thing about this con, is that there's a Danny DeVito shrine, which I guess started small, but now it's like actually part of the con. So you can see in like the official con signage, there's just like a stretched out picture of Danny DeVito pointing to the shrine. And apparently people can leave donations and it goes to charity, which is great. I don't fully understand how that works. Like, I don't know how people leaving all of their little trinkets equals money. I'm sure they leave money too. And I don't know who cleans this up. Like, I have a lot of questions. I have a lot of questions about the Danny DeVito shrine, but I don't have any complaints. I enjoyed seeing it. And Danny DeVito's presence really kind of loomed large, like, at this whole con. Like, the people across from us, I could see on their balcony of their hotel room, had, like, a giant cutout of Danny DeVito as the trash man from It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. And then this guy, you can see the picture I've provided. This guy bought a Danny DeVito naked body pillow that he unraveled at the bar for everyone to see. You could see I kind of had to censor it because it was it's naked Danny DeVito. I don't know what else. I don't know how else to say this. But yeah, that's a full Danny DeVito body pillow that was purchased on the con floor, right? So one of the official dealers. Yeah, I guess you're right, Key. Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's a flex. And I'm glad I happened to be there for that moment to catch it, because that picture I took pretty early into the con. I was still like getting my bearings, and I was just like, oh, that's Danny DeVito's ass on a pillow. So music, games, Danny DeVito. I love when cons build their lore. And I like going to more and more cons because I get to see, this lore, and try to kind of piece together how it came to be. It's one of the magical things about cons. I also got to see some friends, so I just had to show off my swag. I met One Wall Comedy and Tech Dame Chrissy from the Modus Files. They are both voice actors on this Fallout 76 themed podcast, so it was fun to run into them. Yeah, they caught me out of cosplay, which I didn't really think was a big deal, but someone else on Twitter commented, and I was like, yeah, actually, I'm always in cosplay at con. So to run into me when I'm not, that's a whole moment. I attended a few different panels at this con, so I wanted to share. There are so many things to do at con, always. There's the social element, right? You got to meet all your friends. At this con, there wasn't just all the things to see and the cosplays and the games, but there was also all of the bands to go watch. But I always try at any con to like sit down for one really heady, cerebral panel. I don't, because it's just so nice in that environment of like chaos, party, capitalism, to like just sit down and get like really, really intellectual about things you didn't know you were going to get intellectual about. So this panel was called Misremembering Video Games. And the first half of the panel was essentially two guys who, have done a lot of research in the field of memory. So like they're using a lot of like cognitive behavioral science to kind of understand memory and how it works, as well as, you know, cultural studies and like the impact of like cultural idioms and cultural symbolism and kind of how we transmit that through our memories. And a lot of our memories end up being wrong. So that was just kind of a cool thing to think about. And one of the things that they posited that I really appreciated in the panel was like the idea that misremembering is actually good, and it can play a role kind of in shaping our experiences and our identities. You know, obviously like manipulating how we remember things on purpose, it's probably bad. But some of our mismemories of certain, I guess, media kind of actually puts us in conversation with like other people's mismemories, and you know, I don't know, it allows us to connect on that level. So the second half of the panel was just people sharing their stories about video games that they misremembered. So like, I could have sworn that this is like the boss in this game, but this boss was in a different game, or like entire levels that people just like made up in their heads and then tried to track that childhood video game down later, and it was completely wrong. That was my heady intellectual panel. I went to another panel that I'm going to tell you guys straight up, this is the most magical thing I've ever done at a convention. So I wanted to make sure to tag these people. You can find them at meetup.com, Baltimore Musical Improv, if you happen to live in the Baltimore area. There were 2 different workshops hosted by the same people. I went to both because it was like the most fun I've ever had at a con. And it was called Acapella Workshop, and the second one was called Improv Songwriting. But both of them were really just about putting people in a room and, you know, doing certain vocal exercises and certain, practice activities with how to make your own sounds and beats, and then just like literally giving people prompts and some improv game setups, and then having them all organically just like sing together. Improvisational, a cappella, in the moment, singing. I mean, we wrote songs about like a ski lodge with evil burgers. You know, I mean, it was just a really fun and special experience. I love to sing. Those of you in the chat that have ever gone to a convention with me know that I'm gonna find the karaoke. And if I can't find the karaoke, I'm gonna bring my laptop down to the lobby at Reconnect, and we're just gonna sing karaoke in the lobby. I like to sing. I like to make music. And that was a piece of this con that I thought was so special. So true. Because you can't get this at a lot of other cons, you know? And so my passion for like making music with people is as deep as my passion for like playing video games with people. So I think it's rad that both are in the same convention. I feel like this convention was kind of made for me. I still regret not staying up later for karaoke at Reconnect. Oh, listen, Nick, we're gonna like tear the house down now. Now that we have time to plan and we all know what's up, the karaoke at Reconnect 2025 is going to be... Can we get some hype in the chat for karaoke? Not just Reconnect 2025, but karaoke specifically at Reconnect. We still have 467 days to plan. Oh man. And it's because of this musical aspect that I will definitely be going back to Magfest. I also went to a panel that I don't even know how to summarize my experience there because I still don't know what's happening. But this panel was at 1 o'clock in the morning, and there were easily 100 people in this room. And the panel was just called Church of the Olive Garden. I got the feeling that this was another like lore of the con, started small like the Danny DeVito shrine and kind of grew. But yeah, it's just like a guy sort of preaching philosophy and also gave everyone breadsticks. It was incredibly bizarre, and I still don't know what happened. But I'm glad that I was there for it because I was really surprised that 100 people showed up for a panel called Church of the Olive Garden at 1 o'clock in the morning at a con. I guess I'll try to go again next year. Maybe I can report back. You know, maybe the mystery of the Church of the Olive Garden can be solved, but we'll see. And of course, in addition to panels, concerts, lots of cool bands. I don't know if any of you guys are familiar with the band Bit Brigade. They actually started as a band called Contraband in Athens, Georgia. And they started just as a band playing along to their friend playing the game Contra, and they like learned all the music. And so they're still together today as Bit Brigade. They play all these different video game soundtracks while they also have a guy on stage like playing through all of these retro video games without dying. I mean, so it's like twofold. It's like they are really good at kind of portraying rock versions of all of these video game songs. And then they also have, you know, a guy on there who's part of the band. You know, he's part of the band too, that's actually playing those video games live on stage. So when you think about it, like the band has to be prepared. What if he dies? They've got to learn the like the death music, and then they've got to pick it up again. Love Bit Brigade. I'll actually I'll get to see them again at Colossal Con, which is a summer con at a water park that I like to go to. And of course, I got to share all the cosplays, right? So, cosplays. This beautiful, amazing, talented woman, sac.cos on Instagram. She was one of my roommates for the con, and her cosplays were amazing. Can we appreciate the detail on this giant hat that she made? Like, it's wild. It's so impressive. Loved her cosplays. Also just a fantastic human. I saw a little guy from Cult of the Lamb. I thought it was cute that he was like set up, right? It's not just a cosplay. He's got like the tent. He's got the cards. I love an interactive cosplay. This is the way it should be done. I saw a very cute Rapunzel and Flynn. If you don't know, I'm a real sucker for Rapunzel. It's like my favorite of the new wave Disney, if you will, like the post-2000s Disney. Tangled is definitely my favorite. What do you guys think? Like, what's better, Tangled or Frozen? Because I will tell you why the correct answer is Tangled. But no, look at this couple. They look so cute. I also think it's cute that I captured this like guy in the background that was like having a sit, right? You get to that point at con where you're tired. Yes, Key, exactly. Tangled. I'm so glad people understand. Oh look, it's Colonel Sanders. I didn't get the best picture of this girl because I was actually like up a level and she was down in the beautiful courtyard area. But she's some kind of kawaii magical girl, Colonel Sanders, with a bucket of chicken staff prop. I love everything about it. She's great. And I also saw this awesome Rufio and Captain Hook from, the 90s Spielberg live action Hook. Saw some little Baldur's Gate cosplayers here having a sit, but they're very cute. I think they did a great job. And then these guys, these guys are like in this weird secret part of the, not secret, but like this very weird part of the convention area, right? Part of the hotel that they call the party pit. And it's right by the pool building. And there's these like vents that blow out hot air from the pool, which is where all of the cigarette smokers went, right? Because it's cold outside and this is like this one weird warm area. So it's just like this weird little kind of like gutter alley situation. And there were a lot of characters down there, including this guy and his friend dressed as Billy Mitchell and King Kong. Or not King Kong. Guys, who's the video game? Donkey Kong. Have you guys seen King of Kong? If you have not seen King of Kong, it's a really well-made and entertaining documentary about Billy Mitchell, who holds the world record for Donkey Kong on the arcade cabinet version of Donkey Kong. And there's a surprising amount of drama that goes along with holding the world record to Donkey Kong. But much appreciated this guy's cosplay. And that was Magfest. That was my experience at Magfest.